All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today and welcome. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening to whatever time zone you might be joining from. My name is Erin Klingsberg. I'm a senior product marketing manager at CreatorIQ and will be your host for today. CreatorIQ is very happy to host a webinar alongside Meta today. And if you happen to be unfamiliar with us in CreatorIQ, we are the software solution powering impactful creator marketing solutions for the world's biggest, most innovative, and iconic brands. I'm joined by our two featured speakers, Calvin Yu, Industry Manager of Entertainment at Meta, and Bhavin Desai, our Chief Product Officer at CreatorIQ. Calvin and Bhavin, I'll let you say a little bit about yourselves.
Thank you, Erin. Nice to meet you all. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you, CreatorIQ, for inviting me. My name is Calvin Yu, and I'm an industry manager of the entertainment vertical here at Meta. I've been at Meta for 8.5 years now and have oversaw most of all the film studios, streaming services, live event channels, and television networks in my time here. I look forward to talking to you today about creator marketing.
Awesome. Thank you, Calvin. And great to see everyone here today as well. As Erin mentioned, my name is Bhavin Desai. I'm the Chief Product Officer here at CreatorIQ. I'm responsible for our overall product strategy, our roadmap, go-to-market approach, and I'm really kind of excited to talk to everyone here about branded content ads and how we're really kind of shaping the industry together with Meta. So over to you, Erin.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for being here today to talk all about brand and content ads. I know Calvin and Bhavin have a ton to share on the topic. So just for a quick agenda, here's what we'll be covering over the next 30 minutes or so. So first, we'll set the scene with a quick check-in on where the industry is today and where it's going. Then we'll talk about what branded content and branded content ads actually are with some definitions. Why create and run branded content ads in the first place. And then we'll give you tips for how you can begin to weave them into your paid strategy. And then finally, we'll walk you through how CreatorIQ helps our clients activate branded content and branded content ads through our platform. But just a quick note before we get started, you can drop your questions, any questions you have along the way down in the Q&A box, and we'll have time to answer some of them at the end. So with that, Bhavin, I'll pass it off to you to kick us off.
Thanks, Erin. So I probably don't have to tell anyone here today why we're so drawn to creators, but I think it's worth it to do a little bit of that anyway. So over the last few years, creators have really become the backbone of the entire creator economy, and both consumers and brands have really grown to value that originality and authenticity. Overall, as we think about creators, they're the ones that really are able to bring authentic content and authentic voice and an engaged audience to that brand story. So and what's happened here is that brands have really caught on. For example, did everyone here know that in 2023, influencer marketing is expected to grow by about 23% to $6.1 billion, and then to over $7 billion in 2024? Those are insane numbers. And today, creators are the new publishers and media monoliths. They've created the spaces for consumers to feel like they're their friends or family, and have built this trust with their audience that's really hard to recreate. And at CreatorIQ, we can really attest to this growth. In 2022, for example, we saw more creators activated and campaigns executed than ever before. And what we're planning for this year and into the future isn't just driven by this increased spend and volume within influencer marketing alone, but that the idea of creator-led marketing has really taken hold as the core of brand marketing strategies. So what do we do when there's this much opportunity investment on the table? Brands aren't just investing in influencer marketing in the traditional sense, but really leveraging this creator-driven content across their marketing channels, including in paid advertising. And that's really why we're all here today. Traditional targeting methods have become more and more challenging to execute due to restrictions on device tracking, cookie permissions, and other privacy guidelines, which have really resulted in rising ad costs and lackluster performance in some cases. That being said, leveraging creator-driven content and the social capital that their handle has garnered for paid ads and using that for paid ads is almost a no-brainer, especially when doing so via branded content ads. Employing these branded content ads we've seen it help lower CPA or cost per acquisition. And when scaled through CreatorIQ solution, can really help you do a few things, including extending your reach, accessing a massive amount of high quality creative produced by these creators, maintaining your brand integrity, and also making the overall process much more efficient. So let's get to it.
Well, thank you so much, Bhavin, for that great introduction. That helps me kind of start introducing you all to Branded Content 101, especially on Meta. So let me talk through some of the simplest ways to really run these holistic campaigns with creators on your platform. So first off, let's talk about the 3 types of branded content we see right here. The first one we see is owned and operated, and this is a brand that's actually running creator content through their owned and operated page. The second version you see is what we call allow listing. This is also known as add permissions and whitelisting. This process is where the brand would actually run the creator's content by accessing and getting permission to their page to run it as an ad. And then finally, you see what we consider true branded content. True branded content is actually what we're here to talk about specifically today is a branded content ad that actually discloses the partnership between the creator and the brand. So when we define what the differences are, let's kind of go through each one. In the first example here, in terms of branded content, the key thing about here is that this is a partnership between a brand and a business and a creator through an exchange of value, such as monetary payment or free gifts. When you look at branded content ads, the key difference here between branded content is that you're actually running a paid ad to amplify content from the creator's handle, providing access to millions and millions of consumers in addition to the creator's organic audience. So what is true branded content? Well, when you use our branded content tool, that allows a brand to essentially grant permissions for a creator to tag them as a paid partner in an Instagram post. So if you see this picture on the right-hand side over here, you have what we consider as the content portion of the branded content, the list of the creator on the bottom, the brand, and the paid partnership label that discloses the commercial nature of the content. When you also think about adding hashtag as ad, that is also something that you can put in addition to this, but we highly recommend to stay within the paid partnership label. When we look at branded content ads specifically, you'll see right here on the left-hand screen that the branded content ad shows a sponsor label, which is essentially a sponsored boosted post. These are actually created between the creator and the brand itself, and also discloses both the brand and the creator clearly on the top. The image on the right you'll see is what we call account takeovers or allow listing. You'll notice the difference here where it doesn't actually disclose the partnership and is actually running through the creator's handle with the brand's permission to run through it. Brands are accomplishing this through actually taking over the accounts for creators. So let's move over to why branded content ads. To put it plainly, branded content ads are actually the most effective way to run creator content across Meta. You know, the time I spent here, we ran a lot of meta-analysis across multiple lift studies to see that when you actually are boosting the post with the branded content tool and disclosing that partnership, we see a significant amount of performance improvements. First of all, 82% probability to win for purchase outcomes. So we're driving actual business outcomes here. We're lowering that cost per purchase metric by close to 4%, and we're increasing conversion lift by 2.4 times.
So this is really great research, Calvin. I know as we've gone through this historically, there's sometimes been an assumption amongst creators that branded content performs worse, or that and that they prefer to tag their brand partnership in other ways because of that fear. And I think it's pretty clear from this slide that the label is used to drive stronger ad performance, and it's a win-win situation to use the label, especially if it means their content will get even more reach and conversion. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's a really good point and question, Bobby. In addition to just driving better performance, branded content ads actually offer more advantages, especially for our creators. We go to our next slide real quick.
Perfect.
Yeah, so here are the main benefits, right? First, from an integrity standpoint, you're leveraging that BCA or branded content ad product. It actually offers transparency and protection, which all adheres to our branded content policies. So you're protected right off the bat on that front. Second of all, with branded content ads, creators actually have greater control. Remember, when we talked about allow listing before, you're actually relinquishing control to the brand. In this case, you are actually providing specific permissions working with the brands. And so in that case, you have more control and you don't lose that control to your audience. And then finally, enhanced permissioning. We've done a lot of investment in our tools to make sure that we can simplify the permissioning process. So you only have to do it one time. If you work with a certain brand, if that happens again, you don't need to do it again. And that actually simplifies that whole experience for you. So I've covered those big three ways where branded content ads actually benefit your business. We talked about integrity, transparency, better performance. So I actually want to throw into a real life example. Back to how all the testing we've done a lot of these case studies with our partners where they've seen significant performance. An example here is Viator. They actually did an A/B test where they essentially looked at whether or not, branded content ads plus their allow listing perform better than their regular ads. So they did a comparison between the combination of allow listing and branded content ads versus regular ads. And as you can see here, they drove close to 60% lower cost per acquisition, 36.9% lower CPM, and a 38.6% increase in link clicks. And after years of testing this, we've done additional meta-analysis to show that mixing branded content ads with your standard ads actually boosts significant direct response businesses and performance. A lot of our partners have seen that overall, when they're running their standard ads inclusive of branded content ads, they're actually seeing a 53% increase in click-through rates and a negative 19% reduction in their CPA.
Calvin, that's really promising. We hear this kind of question all the time, and I hope this will help our customers who are currently using our ad permission solutions in CreatorIQ to start beginning to combine that with the branded content ads. But it also seems to me that if you've kind of yet to establish a creator-led paid strategy, for example, then there's never been a better time considering how easy branded content ads really makes this and how many performance benefits that they offer here. So I think that's kind of if you could talk a little bit about that, that would be great.
Absolutely. So to answer your question, based on your budget and your campaign objectives, choosing a smart mix of creators that drive performance at the right cost is really the way to go. I've provided some recommendations here in terms of like how to run these campaigns. Number one, first is try to show that product early out. We've seen studies shown that if you show the brand in the first 3 seconds, you drive actually 44% more interest. Second of all, make sure to design for sound off. Creators are accustomed to leveraging audio, but make sure that you can also have the audio off and you can still understand exactly the message you're coming across. We see a lot of success when the sound is on, but designing for sound off actually drives significant brand interest as well. Get creative with the placements. There are plenty of ways to integrate your brand, thoughtfully and creatively. And, we have many tools in our arsenal with our, branded content tools, but also, with your own creative resources, you can really find ways to have fun with the creative. And of course, finally, keep it short, right? Under 15 seconds is where we see the sweet spot is. When it's mobile first, short and sweet, we see a lot of lift in brand awareness right away. So when you look at these sort of 4 introductory recommendations, we've seen a lot of success, and it's really been the through line in terms of the analysis that we've done.
So thank you, Calvin here. I think all of this was really incredibly informative and valuable to learn as kind of the push towards branded content ads gets bigger and bigger. And I think ultimately the key takeaway is to run your creator content as branded content ads. Obviously, branded content ads also offer a ton of added value. But when it comes down to it, they clearly are driving more performance in ads that are just run from the creator handles without the sponsored labels, and more than ads that don't use creator content at all. With that said, I'd love to introduce how we at CreatorIQ make it easier than ever to run branded content ads and get the kind of performance and benefits that Calvin just talked about here. So let's quickly just recap everything we've just learned so far. Ultimately, using the branded content tool to disclose your brand partnerships is what we recommend over alternatives like hashtags, keywords, and at mentions. And that's really for a number of different reasons. Number one, you'll never really have to worry about missed compliance activities. That is becoming more and more prominent. And we see this through some of the compliance tracking that we have within CreatorIQ. You'll also be way more efficient because a repeat creator partner can tag you anytime you collaborate with them. As we've seen this kind of move towards longer term partnerships, this makes it easier than ever. And ultimately, this also allows creators to maintain their trust with their audience as well. They're being explicit about their partnerships and making it very easy for their audience to understand how they're working with a brand. And ultimately, you will be one step closer to really seamlessly leveraging all of this great content as branded content ads. And that's really where CreatorIQ comes in. We've worked really hard to make it easier than ever for brands and creators to partner together in this way. Our solution means that you can give creators the ability to tag you as a partner without ever having to log into Business Manager or go elsewhere to kind of initiate that experience. And because it's easy and streamlined, you can scale this process so more creators than ever before can tag you. It eliminates work for creators, and especially when tying in paid permissions with absolutely zero headache here as well. And if you've done traditional allow listing or account takeovers before, you know how much of a pain this can be in terms of working with creators, helping them figure out the permissions and connections, etc. So this really takes a lot of that friction away. So now I'm just going to walk you through quickly how it works in CreatorIQ. And after that, how it also works on the creator side of things here as well. So first of all, whoever in your organization has access to your owned and operated brand handle will simply just needs to authenticate their brand account in CreatorIQ. It's really easy to do this. And if it's someone that's outside of your team or organizations, we've seen where paid teams are operating in a separate location or in a separate team, you can just send them a link to do this. And once all of your preferred brand handles have been connected in CreatorIQ, from there, you can just select the creator you want to grant access to and make sure you're choosing the correct brand account and creator account and click send. It's that simple. And the great thing about this is you as a brand are granting a creator access and they need to do absolutely nothing at all to accept this. Once it's been granted, they'll simply just need to see, simply see your brand account appear as an option when uploading their branded content. And so from the creator side, all they need to do is really just toggle on the paid partnership label, select the brand, and you're done. That's it. And so now really the kind of the core piece that you've all been waiting for here. So what about the branded content ads themselves? In that same process, by which the creator is creating and uploading and tagging the branded content, they can also give you permission to boost the post right there. So all they need to do is click over to the next screen and toggle that on. So you can see it on the screen here that they just toggle on this the specific permission, and then that will give you access to create a branded content ad using that post directly in Business Manager. So incredibly smooth process, both from the brand and the creator side. And just as a reminder, this permission is the easiest way to create an ad with creator content. It offers creators more control over how their content is used, and it automatically ensures compliance throughout the process. One thing to add here is that this also makes it possible to seamlessly include paid performance in your overall reporting and really get a 360 view of your kind of overall return on creator spend here as well, and kind of makes it much easier to talk about the efficacy of your program. And by being nested under branded content, it's much easier to tap into the benefits here. So what's the key takeaway here? The big thing here is that you can really expand the reach of your creator-led content and massively increase your return on creator spend. And that's really made possible by this unified branded content experience. Ultimately, the key here is that what we're doing is simple, but the impact it really delivers is monumental. And I really urge everyone on the call here to start thinking about branded content as a really holistic approach. The more branded content is tagged using the paid partnership label, the more branded content ads that can be created, and your potential ROI on this increases. Back to you, Erin.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Bhavin and Calvin. That was really informative and great. I see a ton of questions coming in the Q&A box. So we will end with a few minutes of Q&A. We're right on time here. But quickly, before we get into the questions, I will add for everyone on the call that you can learn more and figure out how to get started with branded content and branded content ads today by reaching out to your CreatorIQ contact. So if you're a current customer on the call, you can always reach out to your customer success manager to learn more. And if you're not yet a customer, you can contact us in a bunch of different ways via our website, or you can reply to us by finding the contact us button on any of our emails you received or replying directly there. So we're excited to talk to you about this. All right, let me open the Q&A box and start to sift through this. We have some really, really great questions. All right, so first question here is, can you talk a little bit more about why free gifting campaigns should use the branded content toggle and disclose as a paid partnership?
Calvin, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. I'll take this one. One thing I think I probably forgot to mention as prominently in some of my slides is the real key benefit of the branded content ad and why we recommend it so much is because you're actually utilizing two signals versus one. So to give you an example, when a creator is partnering with a brand who has an existing presence on, Facebook or Instagram, for example, by actually combining that partnership, and when you see the ad, you see, with, creator with brand, you're actually leveraging the signal of both. So you're leveraging the signal of the audience that the creator has, and then the audience that the brand has. So that's why it's so important to actually use a tool, because then that's actually going to improve your reach and performance, and it's actually going to reach more relevant people that will be influenced by the content of that post. So hopefully that helps answer you. Overall, we just recommend, whether it's free gifting or any type of exchange, if you're promoting that product through that transaction and partnership, it's great to utilize the tool to leverage both those signals.
Awesome. Thanks, Calvin. Okay. Let's see. This is, I think, kind of one probably for both of you, but also Bhavin. Do creators still need to use hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored on their branded content posts if they're using the paid partnership label in feed?
I'll let Calvin start. I think it's almost like starts with kind of the standards within Meta, and I can talk about it from a CreatorIQ perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the answer is no, you don't. We actually don't recommend using it. Once you have the paid partnership label, it's pretty clearly disclosed that it's a partnership. Even having those two names next to each other discloses that. So there's no need to put hashtag ad, and we haven't seen any definitive data that shows that hashtag ad actually makes a difference.
Yeah, and from the product perspective, our goal is to kind of make that easier as well. So we have kind of default standards in here. And again, if you're using the branded content tool, we don't recommend in the platform to add that as another criteria for creators as well.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, moving on, I'm gonna just kind of pop down, make sure I get to some of the end questions because I don't know if we'll be able to answer all of them. So I'm gonna like not go linearly. Okay. Let's see. Yes, the recording will be sent to in email form. Don't worry about that. Okay, cool. So this is kind of more of a general question, I think probably tied to some of the best practices. What does a healthy creator community look like in order to run a successful ad strategy? Like, how important is follower count when it comes to choosing creators and like really building a good community that can also be successful for paid ads?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think what we've seen from the CreatorIQ side on this one is generally creators are pretty seasoned enough to understand boosting and are comfortable giving that paid permission. And additionally, follower count isn't as crucial since really a paid ad extends the reach beyond their followers anyway. So focusing on quality of content first and follower count second would be the recommendation here. However, a healthy mix of kind of macro, established, and micro creators is usually always good in any strategy to really test to see how each of those performs as well.
Awesome, thank you, Bobbin. Okay, this is probably definitely one for Calvin, which kind of gets into, how creators feel about ads. Melissa has said that some of the creators they've worked with in the past have kind of received negative comments on allow listed ads. They are worried about kind of their reputation, what posts are being used as ads. So can we talk about like how branded content ads work for creators to feel comfortable?
Yeah, so I think there's a few ways to sort of answer this. We always recommend running your organic post. That's certainly important. But where we actually see the issue with allow listing, and so just to remind everybody, allow listing is when you're allowing the brand to use your account so that they can run ads. Is that it's actually it doesn't clearly disclose the partnership as obviously to the consumer or to the audience. And so although it might be an easier process and a more comfortable process, you're relinquishing a lot of control for the brand, and the brand therefore is able to, in some cases, choose the content they want to boost. They can choose how much money they spend behind it, and all do so without disclosing any partnership. And so that can actually cause confusion. And that's probably a lot of times why you see some negative feedback. We've done a lot of research to not only show that when you clearly provide that transparency to the user, you more likely get less negative feedback. And we've actually even went one step ahead, and we actually removed the paid partnership label for sponsored posts, because we see that when you see both of the brand and the creator connected together clearly and the sponsored label, that's enough to provide a fairly positive understanding of like the purpose of the ad. So we're continuously doing research and understanding how to make sure that creators don't feel like it's a negative impact. And we want to provide these guardrails and these sort of regulations in a way so that it doesn't get overutilized or abused by brands in many cases, which we see happens with allow listing.
Yeah, Totally. Thank you, Calvin, for that. Okay, I think I'm going to just do one more question to wrap us up. We're right at 10:30 Pacific, and I know that we budgeted for 45 minutes here, but I want to be mindful of everybody's time. There are tons of amazing questions in here. So if we did not get to your question, please reach out to whoever your contact is in CreatorIQ, and we can absolutely help you answer that. But just for one last question, which I think we covered a little bit, but I'll have Bobbin kind of answer more, is how can agencies use this? Like what is the use case for agencies instead of brand direct here?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the key piece here is the number one piece is that ability to be able to connect the brand accounts, right, within CreatorIQ. Many of the agency clients you work with already have that access to those accounts, and we also make it really easy to just send that link to connect that account directly. So once that's there within CreatorIQ, it's really as simple as just selecting the relevant brand account and the relevant creator, and granting that permission. So as long as that account is connected, it's possible for really anyone to be able to do that. And then from the ad side, again, just to kind of clarify that when you're actually running these branded content ads, it's still done in Ads Manager, right? Our goal from the CreatorIQ perspective is to really make that process of permissions and partnerships as smooth as possible. But then the flow in Ads Manager is exactly the same here as well, and it just makes it super easy to use that creator content within Ads Manager and run those branded content ads.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. All right. So with that, I think that we will wrap it up for today. Thank you so much to our featured speakers, Calvin and Bobbin. It was so wonderful to have you. I know I really learned a lot from the presentation and from the Q&A session. So thanks so much for that and your time. And to all of our attendees, just a reminder that you will be receiving a recording of today's webinar and some additional resources in your inboxes shortly. So look out for that. And thanks again for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.